Good evening, and welcome to What's Your Story? My guest tonight is Adam Pio. Adam has years of experience in the automobile industry. He is extremely knowledgeable in the field of automobile accidents and the procedures that surrounds them. He understands the automobile insurance industry, and he is well versed in consumer rights. He has built a successful business working cooperatively with the insurance companies and consumers. The second most expensive purchase that you will make is your automobile. Unfortunately, sooner or later, we will all be involved in an automobile accident. The more knowledge that you have, the better your outcome. My guest is here to help you learn how to exercise your rights in the event of an accident. Welcome to the show, Adam. This is part two of this taping for Adam, in which in part one, we talked about automobile accidents, arriving at the scene and what should happen there. Now we'll get a little bit more specific about other aspects of automobile accidents and what the consumers really should know. Adam, you know, when I interviewed you for this taping, I was struck by a couple of things. One of the things we talked about was steering. Exactly what is Connecticut's steering law? What does it mean for the viewing public or the consumer? What does it mean?
The anti-steering law is a Connecticut law where insurance companies cannot tell you where to have your vehicle repaired. You have the right to have your vehicle repaired at any facility that you want.
And where is that right is written in the anti-steering statutes?
That's correct. And it's also printed by law on your insurance card. On the Connecticut insurance card, if you take a look at it and you flip it over, on the back it says you have the right to have your vehicle repaired at any facility. Also, they made it law that it has to be on every estimate that's printed. So that's basically what it is. You can't, they can't dictate exactly where you have to get your vehicle.
Yeah, why did we need an anti-steering law? Why did we need that?
Because if we didn't have that, people would be getting their vehicles repaired at places that they didn't agree to.
They didn't choose, yes.
They didn't choose,
Okay.
They have the same mechanics and the same shops for years, and now they get in an accident and they wouldn't be able to go there.
Okay, all right. So they built a relationship with another business, and they don't know that there's an anti-steering law which says, no, you can send your car for repair where you want to.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere you want.
How often do you find consumers know nothing about that?
Oh, all the time. All the time. And I'll tell them, I'm like, here's your insurance card. Look, flip it over. What's it say? Oh, okay, all right. Well, so they feel more comfortable at that point, They want to give me the business, but they feel like they were obligated to go to certain places that their insurance company told them, or suggested, I should say, suggested to a DRP or something like that.
Yeah. So anti-steering is, would you say it's a successful?
It's a great law. It's a great law that Connecticut came up with.
Now, are other states obliged to honor Connecticut's anti-steering?
I can't speak for other states.
Okay.
I don't know that part.
Okay, all right. Let's say I have an insurance company that operates outside of Connecticut. Well, I guess they'd have to be licensed to operate in Connecticut, so therefore they'd have to honor this anti-steering law.
That's correct. And usually if the accident happened in Connecticut, it goes by Connecticut law.
Oh, that's a really very interesting point. So let's say it doesn't happen in Connecticut, then there's no anti-steering law to protect you, and you got to send your car wherever people want you to send it.
Yeah, that could happen.
I see. Huh. Mm-hmm. Could you have your car, let's say you have an accident, New Jersey. Could you have your car towed?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
We've gone and picked up people's cars in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, because they're our customers. So we've gone, picked them up, and brought them back to our facility and fixed it.
Okay, all right.
No problem.
All right, so I've had an accident. My car has got to get towed somewhere. We got to get it off the street. Mm-hmm. You arrive on the scene. You calm everybody down. Well, you calm down the consumer because, as you said correctly, the police officer has his or her job and they are busy. The medical people have their jobs and they're busy. And the consumer is all shook up, as Elvis Presley would say, just sitting there, right? So,
exactly.
You know, so somebody's got to calm them down or her down and start talking to them. And so, just to recap from part one of the show, the first thing you would recommend that they do is get medical attention. Please revisit that in this part of the show because that is important. Why do you recommend the first thing they do is get medical attention?
They need to get medical attention because they're running on adrenaline. They think they're tougher than they are. They need to go and get it documented. They need to make sure that their injuries are documented. The fact that they were in a car accident and they're a little shaken up and their head hurts and they have a headache and their neck is sore, they need to get that all documented. It's good for them. And plus, for safety reasons, you just don't know what's going to happen. They could possibly have a broken neck and walking around with a broken neck. They need to go get checked out.
We also talked about something that's very, very important, I think, and the viewing audience who may have missed part one should hear that in part two of this taping with you, and that is taking a picture of the scene while you're there, because as you said very much correctly, people say things at one point that later somehow the story changes.
That's right.
Okay, so you
take a picture. Take a video. A lot of times the person that caused the accident will come up and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't see, I looked down at my cell phone. And next thing you know, when the police show up, that story changed and they say you went into their lane or whatever else.
Okay.
So, you know, take a picture of your vehicle, where it's positioned in the roadway,
yes,
the other vehicle, and later on you could show the police officer, say, look, this is where my car is, this is where his car was,
yes,
this is what really happened, and to make sure everything's perfect.
Now, another important point we covered in part one was taking pictures of the car and having the insurance company send you a check as a result of the picture you submit to them.
Yeah.
It's perfectly legal.
Yeah.
We want to make that clear. The insurance companies are doing absolutely nothing wrong.
Right.
That is perfectly legal. But you have some questions about that practice.
Well, it's perfectly legal, but you do not have to cooperate with that. It's
okay,
it's your opinion. You could request a licensed appraiser come out and view the vehicle in person, and you could be there. But the reason why I suggest against it is because you cannot see how much damage through a photo. A photo only shows you the outside of the car damage. It doesn't show you what's been damaged behind the parts. There's wires that go through these car parts, and if a wire got cut or pinched, your airbag cannot be functionally correctly, or one of your brake lines. There's a lot of things in there, and it's jeopardizing your safety.
So you could be, so you took a picture, you sent it in, they sent you $800, and you're thinking, oh, I got $800 worth of damage, when in fact you may have thousands of dollars in damage.
Right, and you think, some people are like, I got $800 worth of damage, I'll just do it at another time, it's small. And next
or I'll
thing
let
you
my
know,
brother-in-law fix it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let my brother-in-law fix it. Next thing you know, they're driving down the road and their brakes lock up, or they get in an accident. God forbid they get in an accident and the airbag doesn't deploy. So, you know.
So it's impossible from your viewpoint, which is your own, that it's very difficult to tell from a photo the actual damage.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. That would make sense to the average viewer watching, right. And I'm glad you shared that with us. You talked about anti-steering, but your shop, your choice. That was your phrase. I love that phrase. That has to do with the anti-steering, correct?
Yeah, it's your shop, your choice. That's part of the Auto Body Association. What it means is it's your choice. You could bring it to any shop you want. You know what I mean? You do not have to follow, a lot of times the insurance companies will guide you and say, hey, can you bring the car to our drive-in claims area so we can look at it there? Okay. And you don't have to.
Okay.
Go to the shop that you've been dealing with your whole life.
Well, let's make it clear that the insurance companies don't tell you you have to. No. But they don't tell you you don't have to.
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? And what it is too is, sometimes they'll say, oh, we can look at it right away if you bring it right there. But they could also look at it just as quick as if you bring it to one of your shops. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Stick to your family shops, family businesses.
Your shop, your choice.
That's it.
That's what you would say to the consumer.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Would you please tell us what the letters DRP mean? What does that mean?
So a DRP is Direct Repair Program.
Okay.
And that is a program where an insurance company will set up a contract with a body shop to send their accident vehicles to that one shop. A direct repair program has a contract with the insurance company to repair the vehicle, and that insurance company is going to keep sending work to them.
Okay, all right.
and to save.
There's nothing illegal about that.
No, it's nothing illegal to it, but it's at a discounted rate, and it saves the insurance companies money.
Okay.
And
Well, to be fair, insurance companies are ripped off by the public, too.
absolutely, absolutely.
How do you figure the public rips off the insurance companies? That's an interesting question, I think.
Well, probably not by not paying their bills. Probably one of them, right?
Yeah.
So.
Wow, yeah. Because the public's not the only one at risk of losing money that they may not have the knowledge to help them save. Insurance companies take huge losses from fraudulent claims and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
As well. So we want to make sure both sides of the.
Yeah.
So one more time, what's a DRP?
Direct Repair Program.
And the insurance companies have contracts with these places, and they send their accident victims' cars to these places for repairs.
That's correct.
All right. You talked to me about a Lamborghini. Please tell me what an imitation part is, a knockoff part, or whatever the phrase is. I may have it wrong. Why wouldn't I want an imitation part on my Lamborghini? Why wouldn't I want that?
Well, I like to use Lamborghini because, first of all, we don't see too many Lamborghinis on the road. Okay?
Absolutely, we don't.
But to many, many people, their car,
Is a Lamborghini.
like you said, it's the second most expensive purchase they're ever going to purchase in their life besides their house.
Yes, yes.
So that's their baby. You hear
Yep.
people call their car, that's my Lamborghini, that's my baby.
There you go, yeah.
So that is their Lamborghini.
Yes.
So if you're driving down the road in a Lamborghini and you get in an accident, and next thing you know, insurance companies or body shops might want to use, they call them imitation parts. There's also known as aftermarket parts or knockoff parts. You don't want a knockoff part on your Lamborghini.
Right.
First of all, it's not going to function the same. These parts are not the same. The metal's not the same thickness. They are not calculated by OEM, original equipment manufacturers, for a different part. So these cars are very complicated, okay? One of the biggest complicated systems on vehicles are the airbag systems. Engineers for OEM manufacturers have spent hundreds of hours and millions of dollars doing research. And if your vehicle is in an accident and it has an imitation part on it,
Yes.
it might not function as precise as it was intended to. So if the front bumper or the fender, it was an aftermarket part, or the radiator support was an aftermarket part, and the vehicle's in a collision, it's not going to tell the computer to tell the airbag to deploy at the exact same time it was intended to deploy. So many times it will deploy too early, or the airbag will deploy too late, or it might not deploy at all. And your head might be in a different position when it's deployed. So it could cause damage to the body, damage to the passengers, and it could cause harm.
Do you know of any credible studies or bevy of evidence that shows that by using parts not made for a vehicle, that you take the risk of some of those things that you mentioned happening? Are there any studies?
Yes, there are studies. It's on the Auto Body Association website.
Okay.
They did plenty of studies there. They put parts on the scale. They actually spent $250,000 on one study doing a test in a factory, in a plant, where the vehicle goes down and it doesn't crumble the way it should during impact. So these studies.
You mean with knockoff parts?
With knockoff parts, right? You know, every car when it's made in the factory line, they do a test on it, a safety test, and they put the dummies in it and everything else. So then they built a car with all imitation parts that were made for that vehicle, and they ran the test, and everything was different.
My goodness gracious.
Yes, it's a big safety thing. And another thing I want to talk about while we're on safety is the child car seats.
Yes.
Anytime you're in a motor vehicle accident and you have a child car seat in the vehicle, the insurance company has to buy you a new car seat. It's the law. So when there's an accident, whether it's any kind of collision, and there's a car seat, whether it's occupied or not, you have to have another.
Well, where is that spelled out? Is that part of your insurance?
That's law by the DOT. That's a Connecticut law.
That's law?
Yes, that's law, because when it comes to child car seats, there's no game playing there. So just remember a lot of times when you call the claim in, you say, I was in an accident, this and that. By the way, I have my child car seat in the back. They don't, insurance companies are great. They don't play games. They're going to say, no problem.
Right.
We're going to buy you a new car seat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and they're great about it. Just let it be known,
Just let it be known you had a car seat there.
Yeah, and you need to know about it. If you don't know about it, they're not going to say, hey, did you have a car seat?
Yeah. So you have to tell them.
Yeah, you have to tell them. They
Sure, they can't read your mind.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But when they hear about it, they'll buy you a new car seat.
So does it matter how old the car seat is?
Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
So if you're in an automobile accident, even if there's no kid in the seat, and the car seat is in that car, it has to be replaced with a new one.
That's correct.
Wow.
What they usually do is make you cut the seatbelt out and send it to them, and so they know you're not using it, and they reimburse you. They're great about it.
Okay, all right. Boy, that's very useful and helpful for my viewing audience.
Yeah, and for children, you can't put a price on that.
No, absolutely you can't. Talk to me about diminished value. What is that?
Diminished value is the price your car is worth before an accident, and then the price your car is worth after it's been repaired. So let's go back to the Lamborghini.
Make it simple for us here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So you're driving down the road in a $250,000 Lamborghini.
Okay.
And you get in an accident, and it might be $25,000 to fix it. And it's a third-party claim, like we talked about, someone banged into you.
Yep.
So it costs $25,000 to fix it. And you keep that car for 6 months, and you say, you know what, I'm going to go hand it in and trade it into the Lamborghini dealer. And when you walk in there, he's going to say, okay, let me run a Carfax.
Okay.
Okay, the Carfax says it was in a front-end collision and the airbag was deployed.
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell me about that? Yeah, the airbag was deployed. They fixed it beautiful. It only cost $25,000 to fix it, whatever. Okay. Well, now that Lamborghini dealer, he was going to give you $200,000, $250,000 for the car. But now he's only going to give you $150,000, maybe $125,000, because when he goes to sell that car, it's been compromised. The Carfax says vehicle was involved in a front-end collision. You understand? Towed away from the scene.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, it might have came out perfectly fine, but there's a diminished value there. And on a third-party claim, you're entitled to reimbursement on that diminished value amount.
What does that mean, what you just said?
So, in other words, if someone banged into your Lamborghini and you had it fixed for $25,000 and it's beautiful, the insurance company still owes you for the amount of the diminished value. So if your car was worth $250,000 before the accident,
Yep.
and now it looks gorgeous again,
Yep.
but it's got a Carfax with an accident on it, and it's been compromised.
Yep.
The difference, what it's worth after the accident, is what the insurance company owes you. So say $250,000, and then you get a quote from a dealer, and he's only going to give you $200,000. There's a $50,000 claim. Of course, we're talking about a Lamborghini
Of
here.
course we are, yeah.
But even on a regular car, it could be $5,000 to $10,000.
So the insurance company owes you that.
That's right.
Third
But that's
party.
another thing you have to ask for.
Oh, okay. And it's
Okay.
called diminished value?
Diminished value. Right. Now, if it's a first-party claim, if you caused the accident,
Forget about it.
forget about it.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Right. But on a third-party claim, they owe you that.
Oh, my
And we have professionals that write diminished value reports.
All the time?
Yep.
Wow. My goodness. Wow. Now, sticking with the Lamborghini, maybe the parts are overseas and it takes a while to get the parts. Talk to me about that.
So this is another third-party claim where, like you say, you're importing these cars over from the Lamborghini plant,
Right. Yep.
and it might take 3-4 months to come in.
Right.
And it's a third-party claim.
Yep.
So,
Which means it wasn't your fault.
means it wasn't your fault,
Yep.
which means the insurance company is entitled to pay you for loss of use or a rental vehicle.
For the amount of time my car's down.
That's right. So, a lot of times it's procedure. Go down to Enterprise or go down to a rental facility.
Yep.
And rent a car, and we'll
Yep.
reimburse you. What they really owe you for is the amount it costs to rent a Lamborghini for the amount of days you were without that car.
I see. So if I had a Ford Expedition, they would owe me for the amount it would cost to rent a Ford Expedition.
That's right, or a comparable vehicle.
Or a comparable. Okay.
Okay, that's how the law states, or a comparable vehicle, which means a Ford Expedition might be four-wheel drive. They owe you a four-wheel drive. It has to have the same cubic inches, the same amount of passengers,
Yep.
and options.
Yeah.
So, but like I always go back to the Lamborghini. I wouldn't settle for a Ford Taurus for 3 months while my Lamborghini was being fixed.
They have to give you.
They have to
an
either
equivalent-
They have to either give you a Lamborghini for 3 months,
Or find something comparable.
or find something comparable. And if they can't do either, they're going to have to reimburse you on the amount that it costs to rent the Lamborghini per day. By the way, it's around $1,500 a day.
Wow. And have you found consumers know nothing about that?
Absolutely. People come in and they're driving Cadillac Escalades.
Yep.
And, they have big families nowadays.
Yep.
And they're like, they told me I need a Jeep Compass. It's totally different, So it's totally different.
So they have to pay you comparable for your Escalade.
Right.
Yeah.
However, if you settle on the Jeep Compass,
Yep.
you took that deal. The deal's off the table.
It's off the table.
There's
the
no
moment
more-
you
they-
sign that contract.
You don't own that. Now you can't. Now you're not entitled to the loss of use.
Oh boy.
You understand? So if you have another vehicle where you could use your husband's or wife's vehicles or brother or cousin, use that vehicle and then just get reimbursed for loss of use on a Cadillac Escalade, which is probably around $250 a day.
My goodness. Yeah. Wow. That's fascinating. That is
Yeah,
really
and it's just,
fascinating.
think about it. You're without your car. And,
Yeah, you are,
And then
yes.
never mind if it's summertime and you waited all winter to drive that Lamborghini.
Yep.
It's just not fair.
Yeah. Wow. We've had almost 2 hours now of talking about ways consumers could and should educate themselves as to what to do in the event of an accident. Where would consumers go in this day and age to read a Facebook, a social media page or something online that educates them so that they can become better consumers?
Abcon.org. That's a great site. That's an Auto Body Association website aimed for consumers.
And what's the purpose of it? What does it do?
It's a nonprofit advocate group
Okay.
for collision repair.
Okay.
And it's out there to show, there's a lot of stuff on there telling you your rights. And another good one is the Connecticut Department of Insurance.
Okay, all right.
They have a great website, and there's a lot of laws on there to explain your rights.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, thank you, my man. I appreciate you coming in.
No problem. Thanks
Maybe
for having me.
sometime we can get you back. Okay.
I appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for tonight's show. My thanks to my guest, Adam. Adam is here. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, good night.